Welcome to Franchising Uncut. I'm Bruce McFarlane, CEO of BDC Partners. After the success of our podcast series, Tell Chef and Story, where we spoke to some franchisors and dived into some particular franchise systems, we've decided to now get into some of the biggest issues in franchising and look at some of, some key themes. And obviously, Carlo, welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
John,
Bruce.
our
Welcome,
co-host.
Carlos.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
It started early.
You
Yeah.
did start early. We planned that.
So, as the founder of RetailCare, you're across all things digital things, and particularly in the retail and franchising space. And probably two of the biggest issues that we're seeing in the franchise sector is one is around AI and the other one is around cybersecurity. So we thought we'd pick your brain today in some of those, and maybe we start with AI. So everybody's got an opinion on what does AI mean and how does it fit within my business, and should I know a lot about it? So I know you've spoken to franchise groups about how they can use AI. Start small and learn a little bit and do stuff. But so tell us a bit about how you're working with franchisors with AI.
Yeah, I mean, AI is such a, artificial intelligence, as we all know it, it's such a big area. That's the reality. And we can't consume it all at once. So the number one thing I'm talking about is that, all business owners, whoever they are, franchisors, even franchisees, retailers, whoever they are, they need to start to look at it. They need to start to understand it. They need to, I think, get a champion in their business.
Don't be scared of it.
Yeah, don't be scared of embrace of it and understand it. Get a GPT account, $30 a month, and start to play with it inside the business. Have a champion who's going to report to management as such about all the cool stuff going on, and on a strategic level start to see where it can replace all sort of tasks that are mundane, boring, and see how it can play out. But I got to be clear. I mean, AI is going to generate more jobs. It's not going to take away jobs. I think that's a big space. And the other big thing about AI that we've all got to remember, it's going to be a place that we don't trust. So the only thing that's going to win is going to be humans. So at the end of the day, AI is something you're going to go to the internet and you just can't trust anything anymore. You'll Google stuff, you'll look at things, and you'll go, who wrote this? Is that a face I actually recognize? Is that a real human? Is that photo real? You're constantly going to be questioning everything you see, and arguably you just can't trust it. So the thing I like to say now is the best thing that can happen is just be a human in your business. Be humans. Customers are going to want to talk to humans. They're going to want humans everywhere. And AI are sort of behind us, sort of supporting us and making our lives easier, faster, more interesting, more competitive. All of those things are happening, but AI is not going to take away anything. It's just going to make things a lot easier. So I think that's something we need to really recognize. And so I think that takes away the fear, that we can actually now embrace it and be human with people. Like the old thing is, get on the phone, build communities is a big thing as well. That's the big win at the moment, is building communities is going to be the biggest winner when it comes to AI, because in communities, there are people, right? And outside communities, there will be AI. And that's going to be the biggest space to play with from the very high level perspective of how you're thinking. So strategic thinking around AI is still about humans and how it supports our lives, our businesses, and makes things easier across the board. I think it's going to employ people. You'll need people in your business. You'll need to employ them to run and manage these systems, to handle all the data input and make them all happen. They don't magically happen without that human input. So I think businesses, you've got social media people, you'll be employing AI people. I think that's going to be really, really interesting in the short term. Now, longer term, it may play out differently. But from high level...
So the robots aren't taking over the world, is that?
That is coming.
It's coming,
No,
later.
I'm on board on that one, definitely. That's a nice conspiracy thing now.
Yeah.
But in 10 to 15 years, that's going to be a real thing, yes. Robots will start to not take over the world, but they'll be part of our lives, absolutely.
Can an AI whatever have a conversation with a person?
Yes.
So how can you get, let's say from a sales point of view, could a person pick that's an AI?
Today, absolutely they can. They're still not up to speed, literally. They're not.
Some are pretty good.
Some are pretty good, but they're not good enough. They're not quite there. We've heard a lot of tech sort of support AI bots that are coming into place. They're just not quick enough. The other thing is they don't build relationships yet. And that's a big difference when you're talking about all these bots and AI voices and everything. They don't have that skill to build a relationship in, like 30 seconds.
So it's transactional rather
yeah,
than
it's very much
yeah.
achieving a result.
But even with that, like I know that, talk to Dave Lindsay about franchising, and he's like, this generation don't want to talk to people.
But that's a problem.
So
that's a big problem. I'd agree with
that's
you.
what's coming through the pipe.
They don't answer the phone, so I don't know.
Yes, no, I agree.
Any
They don't.
sales-based businesses
Correct.
where traditionally, whether it's recruiting franchisees or customers, you call.
Yeah.
No one
Absolutely.
answers the phone.
Yeah, so that front end prior to the call can be handled by AI. I agree. You got 1,000 names, and cleaning that 1,000 names up to high quality leads you're going to convert to franchisees could be done by an AI level. I mean, it's been done on resumes. It's been done by all these sites now. It's quite, let's call it normal. But the reality is that next phase is humans only. You're going to have to sit down. You're going to have to talk. Arguably, that's going to be the winning, sales pitch is going to be, what, there's a human? I can talk to a human?
Yeah.
That's going to be the difference between a franchise selling a lot of franchises and a franchises who just doesn't. I think that's going to be a big difference.
So when you go into businesses, like you've come into to one that we were looking at, and you do what I call a digital footprint audit of where they're at on all aspects. Now, with you saying, okay, where's your AI person? What's the
champion? I'd like to call them these days.
Champion.
Yeah, there's usually a person who's a bit tech focused or interested. They've already got a role in the company, but they are the person you've got to point to be your champion in the business. Like you might get them a Microsoft Copilot account. You get them a GPT account. Spend maybe $1,000 a year on that. That's it. And they can start to play around with this tech.
And that's with creating content? Is that the easiest start? Yeah.
They can use an app called HeyGen. They can start doing some videos, using some AI content, which is pretty cool. They can do all these different apps and tools and then present that to the rest of the team. And that team can then see how they can start to use it. That champion really drives it. Because if you don't have a champion, everybody's playing with crazy stuff and they don't know what they're doing. Then you're spending all this money on apps that you don't need to. So I think it needs to be really contained to a champion in your business. I think that's been really successful in companies.
But I guess with any sort of innovation in business, you want everyone to have an innovation mindset and to be able to.
It wastes a lot of time, though.
It does. No, it does. No, you're right.
No,
but it's interesting. It's like finding the right balance because you want to. Actually, it's not dissimilar to in a franchise system. You want your franchisees to come up with some ideas, but not all the time. You want them to actually. Doing what they're there for.
That's what they're
so I guess as long as you've got the old suggestion box, like if anyone is trialing stuff, they can kind of go to that champion and everybody knows how it is. So it all goes in the same direction. And then with AI, obviously with in retail, then it's initially you're talking about content creation, stuff for your business marketing and stuff like that.
Right now, the number one place for AI is all your playbooks, your manuals. That's the hot spot to quadruple your manual playbooks in your franchise system and get all of that fully completed like you've never done before. Anything you can imagine you've never done, AI will nail that in an hour.
Because you can pump it all out and then you have to read it as opposed to sitting there.
Yeah, you red pen. I call it red penning it. Your AI builds it and then you red pen it. Create a process for this. Create a process, and it just pumps out documents, and then you get someone to red pen it. Take you 80% less time, and I think that's a huge win right now. And the quality I'm going to say of that is probably at 80%. So you want to look at it again in a year with AI and review it as such. So you want to keep on top. It's just like a human. You don't.
But it's not dissimilar to we work with franchise systems that are setting up the system.
Mm-hmm.
When they're set up, often they haven't nailed their systems.
No,
they're
of course
evolving.
not.
So you've got to look at it again.
You've got to
anyway.
test it, don't you?
You've got to test it.
You've got to get that manual and test
because
it.
it's what works in a company company store environment may not work in a franchise environment. The franchisee
and it evolves.
So I think it's not if you sort of think about it like that. Have you seen any examples where people have sort of gone boots and all and we're going to be in AI and it's sort of got a bit...
They've gone way too far in it, investing too much money in it, they've taken their eye off the game. Absolutely. A space is videos and I don't know if you've seen this HeyGen, you can create different voices, you can create all this different stuff and deep fakes and all this sort of stuff to create all this content around...
What's a deep fake?
A deep fake is like an avatar, so a human that's not real, but it's like
Max Headroom.
Well, that's a 1980s.
It's real.
Jeez, how old are you?
Well, you're using fucking Champion. That's 80.
No, champion's a very, very modern term.
No, it's
Come
interesting.
But is it not like Max
But
Edward?
yes, it is for the old
Thank
blokes
you.
listening. It's very much like that from the.
I did
That was done with paper, I think, and camera technique, not AI.
I did a first aid course for the franchise that I'm involved in, and the video content you had to do before you went there, and you're watching it and you're going, that's not a real person, and so
exactly.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't real people.
That's what's happening a lot. As well.
For training videos for first aid.
And I think the other space with AI for franchisors and franchisees is employees and everything are using AI to write resumes, cover letters, everything, emails. So you've got to make a sort of an internal decision how you want to handle that. And a great example, we just employed a new BDM in the business, and it came down to 3, right? And I remember it was like between 9 and 10 a.m. I said to the 3 of them, I met with each of them, I said, look, I really like you, but what I want to do is I'm going to give you a little activity. So I want you to go away, go home, and I want you to write an email to me that you're like selling the services that I have back to me. I want you to do that for me. Write an email that's going to get my attention.
Yep.
Anyway, and I said, I need it done by 5 o'clock because I'm making a decision at 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock came around, I got the 3 emails, didn't even read them. I literally got them all, cut and paste them into 3 different AI checkers. So there's AI checkers, right, that read content and tell you whether a human wrote it or an AI engine wrote it. So two of them, 100% AI wrote it. The other guy, 0%. Who do you think got the job?
Yeah.
The human person. I gave it to him and I was like, mate, I'm so impressed how you put the effort to it. And he started telling me a story about writing it, how he did research, how he did this. And I'm just like, I rang another guy. I said, I want to say, look, I'm so sorry that you didn't get it. Oh, why not? And I said, well, you tell me. Tell me the process of writing that email. What did you do? He had nothing. He was umming, ahhing. And I said, you used AI, right? It took you like maybe 3 or 4 seconds. He goes, yeah, it was really cool. I used AI. I went, that's why you didn't get the job.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big problem for us. We need to, as owners, really understand what we're receiving and is it real or is it not? Is it achieving
Could you
what
have
I
told
want?
it? Did you think could you tell the difference without putting into your checker?
Absolutely.
Because there was more personality in
It's
one
just
than the
there's
other?
relationship development in the first sentence. I think that's where AI is really missing is relationship development. And also the length of the email, the use of names and brands. AI is not very good at that. Doesn't use names and brands very well in it. So I think those sort of personalized bits, was great to meet you this morning. Really excited about the challenge. That way to introduce. And I'm like, that's what humans say. AI doesn't say that. No. So, but AI checkers are wonderful. I'm constantly on them and catching out, websites like AI is being used way too much by SEO agencies and content agencies and telling their client that they're doing all this content work. Well, they're not. AI are doing it all and they're spending all this money. And then I remember a new client came to us, they showed us all this work and it's not working. I'm like, let's have a look at it. And they spent thousands on content. I copy and paste, but AI checkers said they're not even doing the work. They're probably not even reading it. And then it ends up on their website and Google rates you lower. They turned the engine on about a month ago where
so they know.
Yeah, AI, Google does its own checks. If you've got AI content on your website, they rate you lower. Simple as that. So all these companies are going, what's going on? Well, they're agencies. Their people are just using AI. So I don't have a problem with using AI to build content, but I think a human needs to red pen it, read it, review it. You've got to have that phase. You can't launch with your AI content.
So, mate, in your business, do you have like a couple of AI, like your shit? I know you know.
I know my shit, as you say.
Yeah. But do you have someone that just eats, sleeps, breathes AI and is looking at the latest and...
Well, I think as a tech company, I think we're all into it. I'd have to say it's a bit of a hobby of ours. We all enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'm probably leading it, I'd argue.
The biggest nerd in the tech company.
A little bit, especially when it comes to new tech. Yeah, I mean, how do I say this? In my business has been running for 30 years. I've to stay alive as a tech company for retailers. I've had to, transition, reinvent, and pivot my business from DOS to Windows. Windows to sort of hybrid systems now to cloud, and now I've got to do it to AI. So I've got to be the founder of that business. And anyone who's got a business and has been running it for a long time, they've had to pivot their business, not because of COVID and all that pivot business, but you've got to grow your company, and AI is a big part of it. I mean, AI is the biggest revolution since the invention of a computer. Like literally, it's bigger than anything else.
Yeah.
It's it's bigger than the internet.
So it's things like you're going, okay, so here's the time across the bottom, and you're going along and there's DOS and then you're changing it to whatever.
Windows.
And AI, and then you're going straight up.
Yeah, it is, totally.
Right.
So the other topic that we mentioned is security. So obviously that's a big issue. Like people, like even security of people stealing ideas off people, which is what which is happening as well. But you work with clients that it's data is so important, and protection of the data is vital for a lot of this business, particularly when it's confidential and medical or whatever it is. But then we've seen over the last few years that businesses can just be blown up by by cyber.
It's scary, actually.
Yeah. So
how quick it happens.
So one side you've got people that are in your business mucking around with AI and giving you confidential information out to the world. And the other side is that people are coming in and stealing money, logging into bank. We get it. People are sending emails that look like from me and want to transfer money. That happened to us the other day.
AI, security, cybersecurity, they all go together now because AI is running all those scams now. It's a big engine online that all the scammers are running through AI. With their voice, their text, they're all running that system. So we have to be careful of it. But, talk about security and documents. People are uploading, company financial reports into it. They're uploading manuals, IP documents, and they're getting AI to generate. Well, all that becomes public. So you have to do a serious, AI security policy in your business about what you're allowed to upgrade and put into GPT. We all think it's innocent. It's not. It's super dangerous because someone else will do. Someone else
it's learning. Exactly. It's
learning exactly. So you put your financials in or whatever, and put your company name there. That's going to show up somewhere else in someone else's result. However, they're asking for company information on these sorts of companies. Boom, it'll use yours as an example. So you've got to be super careful around this stuff. And companies, franchisors, franchisees, they need to put policies in that they don't have, they can't put that in. So, PDFs, for example, we've got to be, how are we managing our PDFs? When cybersecurity, it's not just about cybersecurity and scammers, it's internal problems going into AI, that PDF. Like, we've got to be really careful. So we need good management systems, online systems to manage that content and data so it can't be copied and move around and pasted into anything.
Yeah,
little things like that.
No, but it's crazy. Like people, I don't know, going to sack an employee and they want to word the way that they send out their letter, the termination letter. Throw it into AI. It's our publicly available information.
Exactly.
I didn't know. I mean, that makes sense, but I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, franchisee disputes. I'm just going to get I'm going to get my pleadings drafted for my litigation case because I don't want to pay a lawyer, right?
Yeah, no.
Throw it into ChatGPT and say, draft up a letter of demand.
No.
Can you search that? Like if you, let's say that happened and you searched, BDC.
Not really. No, you can't do a search like Google like that. But the content and information and process and potential breaches will come out. But there is an app that a company was called an Analyze or something quite interesting. It's now doing GPT with names and brands. Because if you go into GPT, it's not great with, if I type in Carlos Santoro, RetailCare, it doesn't know a lot about me, if anything. Go to Google, it knows lots, right? Well, GPT is about, it just launched 4.0 this morning. There's some new upgrades in this around it. So you need to be careful around it. So if you do want to put your financial statements in there, no problem. Just make sure you have no company names and all generic accounts. Yeah. And then you get really cool information. Give me all financial reports. Give me some ratios. It's excellent. Just don't use any reference to your company. Clean it all up before you put it in there. And legal stuff, just never.
Oh, yeah, no.
Just never put legal stuff.
But that's right. But the same. I'm sure that law firms around the place because university students, high school students, everyone, we're kids at school.
And to segue a bit, if I may, to cybersecurity, I think cybersecurity comes around because so many companies haven't got great security policies. When was the last time you changed your password? You probably got the same PIN codes.
I got the same one for everything.
There you go. So can you tell everyone that one?
Is it your birthday?
It's your birthday.
Of course it is. It's the only thing you can remember.
We all joke about it, but that's how the breach is done. That's exactly how the breaches are done. So therefore, we need to invent this whole world of cybersecurity. We need all this software. We need all this stuff in play to get it. And then all this spamming, all these sorts of things. We have to have all this in place because of all bad security. So I think the first thing is definitely we need better security. There's layers of cybersecurity we just need to have. And the basics are with our IT professionals, making sure passwords are done, all our content and data is in one place. I mean, we all worked from home. So we all gave our staff all this data on their computers,
They took
right?
home
We've got to
and then
pull
their
all
kids are
that back.
mucking around on it.
We've got to pull all that back in, and we've got to get, legal stuff done around that they don't have that content. And once we've pulled all that back in, now we can ramp up the cybersecurity around that content, our emails, and protect us from all of that, and start putting a wall around the business.
So give franchisors and retailers a rating out of 10 as to how they are on top of that. Are they
Cybersecurity.
in general?
Oh, there'd be a 2
0?
out of 10.
Right.
No, some are doing all right, but no, that's pretty bad. And the sad thing is they don't do anything until they get breached. That's what happens.
Hacked in, someone gets into their system.
Absolutely.
We got hacked the other day that was really bizarre. It was like a
Happening all the
library or
time.
something. It was something
exactly.
weird.
Yeah, but these hackings, just to be clear, they're not necessarily done by a person. There's not a 14-year-old kid like we think. These are professional, highly trained, super smart tech teams in all different countries who are running automated engines.
Yeah.
And, they're sitting back smoking while they just watch their 4 screens scan the world of the internet, and then boom, one comes alive, it broke into yours.
Yeah.
And then they go in hard on that one to get everything quickly. And then they get their money, they get their files, they do whatever, put it on the dark web and sell it, because that's all they care about. It's where the money is, right? But they're out on there and they're on the next one. And there's bots and AI doing that, looking for all these holes everywhere.
So the banks must have massive teams in there going through. And
just never
because one day's different to the
anything,
next.
no bank, no anything. Just type in the domain names, type in your code, type in your password to banks. Never do fast links to any of that. That's number one, cybersecurity. But look, cybersecurity in its own right, it does take, it is a big company overview. It's sort of like our CEOs need to be talking to their teams about it, their franchises about it. I mean, customers coming into stores can breach security with mobile technologies. I mean, it's not hard. Some of these POS systems have terrible passwords on them, and then we can access their inventory. I could download it, look at their inventory, look at their cost prices. We need to. That is cybersecurity at all levels of their business. Even CCTV cameras in a retail store, I can literally within 3 seconds, I'm not a tech head, a programmer, I can just access that camera because they've got a standard out-of-the-box password on it. Things like that, we've got to, that sort of stuff I think is really important with cybersecurity. And once we've sorted that out, we can put layers of very cool high-tech software in place. But that first phase will that'll take the 2 to an 8. Right. Let me tell you, it'll take a 2 to an 8.
Yeah.
If that helps.
So, yeah, it does. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's the cost to the community and the economy must be just growing exponentially every day.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the serious hacks that we've all seen in the big corporates, and they've got ransom money, pay. There are good ways to get around it, but you need to have a cyber company ready to go. They literally come on site and lock you down. So there is serious hacks that get done, not just basic ones. The basic ones happening every day, all the time. And the increase in scamming as well, people giving money out to scams. This is basic cybersecurity. I think, even in my company, we're getting emails. So my CEO received an email from my accounts CFO, right, saying, please pay this bill.
Yep, we had
it's
that.
already got authorized by the founder, Carlo. And he looked at it and I saw it come through, and I'm like, hang on, that looks weird. I looked at the invoice and I'm like, what's this $25,000 on consulting? We've never, I didn't authorize that. But I also went, you know what, my CEO, he can do that if he needs to. I don't have a problem. So I picked up the phone and said, oh, have you got the report from these consultants? He goes, what consultants? And within minutes, we realized this is serious. It was about to be paid. And I'm like, this is not good. Right, so we've got a whole lot of policies and procedures in play around these sorts of things, and that's a very common cybersecurity problem. But to me, that comes back to great accounting principles in your business that your CFOs and accounting people need to be putting in play.
Yeah.
So your 2 can go to a 5 if your accounting policies and methodologies in the company are running smooth.
Yeah.
So don't get caught up cybersecurity. We need software and all this. We need to do some basics first.
Yes.
And there are a lot of for a lot of free online tests. You can Google, what are the top 10 things I need to do for cybersecurity? Do that. And everyone, please go do that. It's a great thing. There's dozens of sheets on there. And then give it to your IT people, and they can then help implement the next phase. I think that's a great place to start for franchisors and even franchisees to consider at their own level, because they can have a breach at the shop level and then affects the whole organization.
Yeah.
Like you've got to be careful from that perspective too. So constant audits, can be done. And don't use an AI auditor to audit your cybersecurity because they're available.
Jeez.
It's a never-ending vicious circle, isn't it, of nightmare?
It's full on. Like my favourite scam was the one where you get a message and it says we got into your video whilst you were downloading Pornhub, watching Pornhub. Did you hear about that one?
No, I never got that actually.
Yeah, I
you never got that, Bruce?
No,
that must have been
just
just
you.
for you, John.
No, I know 3 or 4.
None of our fans have got that.
Maybe that was actually Kath.
It was just you, I think, John. Oh my God.
No, I know of a few people that had that. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. And you paid up, right?
No, a mate of mine texted back said everyone knows I'm a wanker.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, we'll always end up back in the gutter. Don't
No,
we?
no, it's all right.
We're winding up.
me.
We're finishing on that.
No, but on that note, please, on your notebooks, put there. You can buy them on Amazon for like $3. These little camera covers.
Yeah.
Make sure you always got those on without fail. Don't ever have a computer without that. That's a
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
But does the light always come on?
No,
or can the
of course
camera
not.
come on without
The hackers
the light?
aren't that stupid. Let's hack in and leave the light on. I won't write that code to turn the light off. Of course the light goes off.
Wow.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, so that's a real thing that's happening. Definitely. There are actually sites you can go to, other than the dodgy ones you go to, where you can look at any computer in the world and see what they're doing. There are sites you can go to. And it could be your computer right now, Bruce, looking at your beautiful face. Literally, you can go and look at them.
You are beautiful.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway, so it's a scary area, but I think
we
start
need
with
to
the
jump
basics.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like anything else on a CEO agenda of running a business, a founder. You've got to tick this stuff off of compliance,
Yeah. Well, I know with the investment side, when we've talked about our due diligence, that we've talked about you guys coming in and having a look at all those aspects. So I'm really keen for the next couple that we buy to see how that looks, see what we're doing.
Well, compliance-wise and responsibility-wise for investors, you need to tick that stuff off.
Because if you look at the size of the risk from getting it wrong, like if you breach the code, like legal hack, you breach the code, it'll wrap up the knuckles. You might get sued. You might be in the papers. Not great. The cyber issue,
it's huge.
People's lives,
People's
like
lives
it's
are gone. You lose money.
you
the
lose
whole thing.
everyone blows the whole
identity
thing up.
theft, all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's massive.
I agree.
We have to wap it up.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Great
No
to
worries.
talk
Thanks,
to you,
Carl.
and
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks,
plenty
John.
more. Thank you.
Yeah, that was
Very,
fun.
very good.
Okay, 30 minutes goes pretty.